Why does Donald Trump want Canada? A deep dive into his bold idea. Lately, Donald Trump has been making waves with talk about the U.S. possibly taking over Canada and making it the 51st state. To many, this sounds like a wild, unrealistic idea. After all, Canada is a strong, independent country with its own government, culture, and identity. But when you look deeper into Trump's motivations, it becomes clear that he isn't just joking. Whether it's about money, power, or his legacy, there are several reasons why Trump might seriously want Canada under the American flag. 1. The money factor, a $200 billion trade problem? One of the biggest reasons Trump has given for wanting Canada is the economy. The U.S. and Canada have one of the largest trade relationships in the world, exchanging billions of dollars in goods and services every year. But Trump sees this relationship as unfair. He has claimed that the U.S. loses around $200 billion every year because of bad trade deals with Canada. This isn't the first time Trump has been frustrated with Canadian trade. During his presidency, he fought hard to change NAFTA, the trade agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, arguing that Canada was taking advantage of the U.S. Now, he's taken that frustration to a whole new level. Instead of renegotiating deals, he suggested simply making Canada part of America, eliminating the trade issues altogether. Canada is also rich in natural resources, including oil, gas, timber, and minerals. These resources are incredibly valuable, especially in a world where energy security is becoming more important. If Canada were part of the U.S., Trump wouldn't have to negotiate with another country for these resources. They'd be American, giving the U.S. a massive economic boost. 2. Power and protection. The security angle. Another major reason Trump has floated the idea of taking Canada is security. The U.S. and Canada share the longest undefended border in the world, over 5,500 miles long. In Trump's view, that could be a security risk. He's argued that if any hostile country, like China or Russia, wanted to attack the U.S., they could easily do it by coming through Canada. By making Canada part of the U.S., Trump believes he could secure the northern border permanently. He's even said that Canada needs our protection, implying that without American support, Canada is vulnerable. Whether or not that's true is up for debate, but from Trump's perspective, absorbing Canada into the U.S. would give America total control over the North American continent. Beyond just security, there's also the Arctic issue. The Arctic region is becoming more important as ice melts and new shipping routes open up. Right now, Canada controls a huge portion of the Arctic, but if it were part of the U.S., America would have much greater influence in the region. This is critical because countries like Russia and China are trying to expand their presence in the Arctic, and the U.S. doesn't want to fall behind. 3. Trump's legacy. A historic move. Trump is not just a politician, he's a businessman who has always loved making big, bold moves. If he could somehow make Canada part of the U.S., it would be one of the most dramatic events in modern history. He would go down as the president who expanded America in a way no one thought was possible. Think about it. Past U.S. presidents have added states, but no one has added an entire country. If Trump could pull it off, his name would be remembered forever, not just in the U.S., but all over the world. For a man who cares deeply about his legacy, this kind of move would be the ultimate power play. 4. How do Canadians feel about it? Here's the biggest problem. Canadians don't want this. Not even a little bit. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has strongly rejected the idea, calling it ridiculous and an insult to Canadian sovereignty. And it's not just Trudeau. Polls show that the overwhelming majority of Canadians are proud of their independence and have no interest in becoming part of the U.S. Many Canadians also see Trump as a divisive figure, and the idea of being governed by him or any future American president doesn't sit well. They point out that Canada has a stronger social safety net, including universal health care, and they don't want to lose that by becoming part of the U.S. 5. Could this actually happen? Realistically? No. Even if Trump is serious about this, making Canada part of the U.S. would be nearly impossible. The U.S. Constitution doesn't have a clear process for annexing a modern, democratic country, and the Canadian government would never agree to it. For it to happen, both countries' governments and citizens would have to vote in favor of the change, and that's simply not going to happen. Canadians value their independence far too much, and even many Americans wouldn't see the benefit of such a drastic move. The bottom line: so, why does Trump want Canada? It all comes down to three things: money, power, and legacy. He sees Canada as an economic goldmine, a strategic asset, and a way to cement his name in history. But just because he wants it doesn't mean it's remotely realistic. While Trump might continue to push the idea, Canadians aren't interested, and the U.S. political system wouldn't allow it to happen easily. In the end, this is likely more about Trump making headlines and asserting his influence than a genuine plan to take over Canada. Still, in a world where anything can happen, one thing is certain: this conversation isn't over yet.